And the thing is, like, people pass out, people, things happen at concerts, but something like that, it's just like,
He was untouchable, a rap mogul, a cultural phenomenon, a man who had built an empire from the ground up and seemed destined to keep rising. Travis Scott was on top of the world, and then came November 5th, 2021. One night, one moment, one decision that would change everything. This is the story of how a superstar learned that no amount of success can protect you from the consequences of your choices. This is the Astroworld tragedy, and this is the night that broke a superstar. Before the fall, there was an incredible ascent. Travis Scott wasn't born into the music industry. He built his way in. From Houston's streets to the world's biggest stages, he crafted a sound that was uniquely his. Atmospheric, visceral, hypnotic. Albums like Astroworld and Birds in the Trap Sing McKnight became instant classics. His concerts were legendary. His cultural influence was undeniable. By 2021, Travis had achieved what most artists only dream of: Billboard success, Grammy recognition, a Super Bowl halftime show, collaborations with the biggest names in music, corporate partnerships, endorsements. He wasn't just a rapper, he was a brand, a movement, an untouchable force in entertainment. And then he decided to do something ambitious: host a music festival at NRG Park in Houston. Astroworld Fest, named after the defunct theme park that inspired his stage name. It was supposed to be a homecoming, a celebration, a showcase of his position at the top of the industry. Nobody knew it would become a tragedy that would define his legacy forever. November 5th started like any major concert. Thousands of fans gathered. The energy was electric. Security was in place. Everything looked ready. But what happened over the next few hours would expose a catastrophic failure in planning, responsibility, and duty of care. As the night progressed and the crowd surged, the situation deteriorated rapidly. Fans were crushed. People couldn't breathe. The crowd became a dangerous force unto itself. And despite the chaos, despite the clear signs of distress, the show continued. Travis Scott kept performing while people were being trampled below him. 10 people died that night. Many more were injured. Families were shattered. Lives were changed forever. And Travis Scott was at the center of it all. In the days following the tragedy, Travis issued statements. He expressed sorrow. He claimed he didn't know the severity of what was happening. He said he was working with authorities. But for many people, especially the families who lost loved ones, these words rang hollow. They wanted accountability. They wanted answers. They wanted to understand how this was allowed to happen. The backlash was swift and devastating. Sponsors distanced themselves. Concert venues became hesitant. The music industry's golden boy suddenly found himself in free fall. Lawsuits piled up. Criminal investigations were launched. The empire that seemed so solid began to crack. But here's what's important to understand. The legal consequences and the public relations damage weren't the real breaking point. The real breaking came from something deeper, the realization of what his choices had cost. Travis Scott had built his entire brand on being a leader, a visionary, someone people followed. And with that position comes an enormous responsibility. A responsibility to the people who buy your tickets. A responsibility to the people who believe in you. A responsibility that goes far beyond making great music. When you're a superstar, when you have that level of influence, you have a duty of care. You have an obligation to ensure that the spaces where your fans gather are safe. You have a responsibility to stop a show if people are dying. You have a moral imperative to put human life above profit, above performance, above your brand. And Travis Scott didn't, or at least he didn't quickly enough. And that's what broke him, not the lawsuits, not the cancelled shows, not even the public condemnation. What broke him was the realization that his negligence had cost lives, that his failure to act had resulted in families never seeing their loved ones again. The aftermath of Astroworld was devastating. His reputation, built over years of success, crumbled in weeks. Social media turned against him. Artists distanced themselves. Festivals didn't want him. Record labels became cautious. The man who had it all suddenly had everything to lose. And what's particularly painful about this story is that it didn't have to happen. Every single tragedy at concert events is preventable. The crush didn't have to occur. the deaths didn't have to happen. Better crowd management, better security protocols, better communication, and most importantly, better decision-making in the moment could have prevented all of it. This is the tragedy within the tragedy. It was avoidable. Travis Scott had every resource available to prevent this disaster. He had security teams, he had event coordinators, he had venue experience, he had the power to stop the show, and he didn't use those resources effectively. The story of Travis Scott and Astroworld teaches us something critical. Success doesn't exempt you from responsibility. In fact, the more successful you are, the greater your responsibility becomes. When you're on a pedestal, when millions of people look up to you, you don't get to make careless decisions. The stakes are too high, the potential consequences are too severe. This isn't just about Travis Scott. This is about any leader, any person of influence, any individual in a position of power. Your success gives you platform. Your platform gives you responsibility, and that responsibility can never be delegated away or ignored. Travis had the chance to be a hero that night. He had the chance to stop the show, to ensure everyone's safety, to put lives before profit. Instead, he made a choice that would haunt him forever. And now he has to live with that. He has to face the families who lost loved ones. He has to confront the reality of his negligence. What happened to Travis Scott is instructive because it shows that no amount of success can shield you from the consequences of your choices. You can have #1 albums, you can sell out stadiums, you can make millions of dollars. But if you fail in your fundamental duty to protect the people who trust you, all of that crumbles. The superstar didn't break because he lost money or fame. He broke because he was forced to confront the weight of his decisions. He was forced to see that his negligence had resulted in 10 preventable deaths. That's not something you recover from quickly. That's not something you erase with a comeback album or a carefully orchestrated comeback tour. And that's the real tragedy. Not that Travis Scott's career was damaged, but that his failure to act responsibly destroyed lives and changed families forever. The lesson here is profound. Your success comes with responsibility. Whether you're a superstar or a manager, an influencer or a team leader, you have a duty to the people who follow you, who work with you, who depend on you. That duty is non-negotiable. That duty is more important than your goals, your timeline, or your reputation. Travis Scott failed in that duty, and now he has to live with the consequences. The question for the rest of us is, will we learn from his failure? Will we recognize that our position of influence, no matter how big or small, comes with an obligation to make ethical choices? Will we choose safety and responsibility over profit and progress? The night of Astroworld didn't just break Travis Scott, it exposed something that many superstars fail to understand. That you're only as great as your character. That success without responsibility is hollow. That the choices you make in moments of crisis define who you truly are. This is the story of a superstar who had everything and lost it not because of bad luck or circumstance, but because of a fundamental failure to prioritize human life. It's a cautionary tale. It's a reminder that nobody is too big to face consequences. And it's a lesson that every person in a position of power needs to hear. You are responsible, you are accountable, and your choices matter more than you can ever imagine.